everybody? Welcome to Wild Boy Movies, the place to talk movies. And 2024 is coming to an end. And in terms of how movies were in 2024, it was alright. I mean, we did get some big successes at the box office, but there were some not well performed movies. But that's not the topic of this video, as I'm going to be giving you guys my top 10 favorite movies of 2024. The 10 movies that I consider to be the best of the year. So be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below your favorite movie of 2024. And before we get into this video, there are some movies that came out this year in 2024 that I didn't get a chance to watch that year, like Anora, Nosferatu, and Wicked. So if you want to know where those movies would end up on my list, be sure to check out my Letterboxd account where I have a list of every movie that I saw in 2024 ranked. I will have that list in the description and the pinned comment of this video. And be sure to stay tuned on my channel tomorrow where I will be giving you guys my top 10 most anticipated movies of 2025. But without further ado, let's get right into it. And real quick, here are some movies that will go on my honorable mentions list. Coming in at number 10 is Despicable Me 4. Now, I've been a big fan of the Despicable Me franchise for several years, and I feel like that this fourth film in the franchise is just as good as the previous three installments in the main line of the Despicable Me movies. I really like the character of Gru Jr., and I also really like the idea of the Mega Minions. Maxine Lamal was a pretty good villain, and I felt like that the story in here was done pretty well in terms of character development for like Gru, in terms of him raising his son, Gru Jr. And while I prefer that we got a lot more of the Mega Minions in this movie, I still walked out of this movie very satisfied with it and cannot wait to see where they go with the Despicable Me franchise going forward in the future. Coming in at number 9 is Venom: The Last Dance. Now, in comparison to like the majority of the movies that came out of the MCU, no, this isn't a good movie. But did it entertain me? Yes, it did. That was really my overall opinion with this entire Venom trilogy, and this third movie is by far the best of the entire franchise. Like, I feel like that this film has the best in terms of the dynamic between Eddie and Venom, and the action in here was pretty good, and particularly that final battle though. And Andy Serkis's portrayal as Null was so good that it sucks that we may never see him again in this spin-off universe or Tom Holland Spider-Man 4. But still, this was a great way to end off the Venom trilogy. Taking the 8th place spot is Piece by Piece. Now, I've been slightly interested in this movie from when it was announced just because it was a Lego biopic on Pharrell Williams until I found out this is actually a documentary. And just like what I stated in my review for this movie, this has gotta be the most creative documentary that I've ever seen. I really like the selection of songs that they chose for this movie. I felt like that the Lego animation in here was pretty good. But what really did it for me was the story of this movie. Like, I felt like that they went ahead and told the story of Pharrell Williams so well to where I learned some new facts about Pharrell I never knew. But overall, coming from someone that doesn't watch much documentaries, I feel like that this has gotta be the best documentary that has ever been made. Number 7 goes to The Wild Robot. Now, this is actually a book that I read when I was a kid and I really enjoyed it, so that made my excitement for this movie really high, and I felt like that they went ahead and delivered with this movie. The animation in here was great. Lupita Nyong'o, Pedro Pascal, and Kit Connor did a great job in their respective roles. But most importantly, the story in here I felt like was done very well, tackling the idea of motherhood and how difficult it is being a mother or a parental figure. I feel like that this movie has a big shot at being nominated for Best Animated Feature at the Oscars. And if it does get nominated, it is the one movie that I would want to win that Best Animated Feature category. Number 6 belongs to Transformers 1. Now, I just want to go ahead and say that the trailers for this movie absolutely did not do the film justice because I was not expecting the movie to be this good from the trailers. Yet I was pleasantly surprised. I felt like that the cast in here did pretty well, but the best was Chris Hemsworth and Brian Tyree Henry. The animation in here was amazing, and I felt like that the story told from Optimus and Megatron being friends to enemies was done so well. Plus also the scene where Orion and Dee become Optimus and Megatron was so hard that ultimately caused Transformers 1 to become my all-time favorite entry in the entire Transformers franchise. Taking 5th place is Inside Out 2. Now, I feel like that in a world where we get a bunch of unnecessary sequels, like Toy Story, for example, I feel like that Inside Out definitely warranted itself getting a sequel. I mean, we have a lot of great animation in this movie, but the big thing is introducing the new emotions in this film. And that is the biggest strength that Inside Out 2 has for it. Like, this movie has an anxiety attack scene, and I feel like that scene was handled so well in the film. And the story in here was done so well to the point that I will say that Inside Out 2 is way better than the first Inside Out movie. And the insane box office success that Inside Out 2 had is just absolutely crazy. Coming in at number 4 is Alien Romulus. And let me tell you, Alien Romulus is my favorite entry of the entire Alien franchise. Like, Fede Alvarez did a great job in bringing the horror back into the Alien franchise, which is something that this series really needed. And the practical effects when it comes to like the xenomorphs or the facehuggers was done so well, and the cast in here was great, the main ones being Kaylee Spaney and David Johnson. This was such a massive win for the Alien franchise that I'm hoping that we get a lot more of the xenomorphs in the near future. Because if they're just as good as Alien Romulus, I feel like that this franchise is back to being as good as it once was. Kicking off the top 3 of the list is Terrifier 3. And for me personally, I feel like Terrifier 3 is one of the best horror movies of all time. Like, this movie delivered on the gore that you would expect from the Terrifier franchise, and it continues to expand the Art the Clown lore that we've all been wanting since Terrifier 2 left some questions open. And while all of the gruesome Art the Clown moments are fun to watch, all the stuff not involving Art the Clown, like involving with Sienna and Jonathan, was all done very well and bringing up the story to another level. And with the way Terrifier 3 ended, I need to see Terrifier 4 right away because it's a cliffhanger that I want to see resolved. The runner-up on this list is Deadpool and Wolverine, and without a doubt, this is one of the best MCU movies that we've ever gotten, at least in my opinion. I mean, Ryan Reynolds continues to play Deadpool so well, and you also got the amazing acting that Hugh Jackman brings to the table as Wolverine, and not to mention that comic accurate Wolverine suit that we've been waiting 20 years for. And this movie had some great and awesome action sequences throughout the film. Like, I feel like that this has been the movie a lot of MCU fans have been wanting ever since we've hit the low point of the MCU. And I'm hoping that we do eventually see Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool return to the MCU in Doomsday or Secret Wars. But my favorite movie of 2024 is Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Like, this has been my most anticipated movie of 2024 for well over 2 years. And it was so worth the hype and is a genuine masterpiece. Like, if you're a big Sonic fan, there are gonna be a lot of Easter eggs in this movie that will make you smile and have a great time. I also feel like this movie has the best story out of the entire Sonic trilogy. But what really does it is Keanu Reeves' performance as Shadow the Hedgehog. Shadow had some of the best moments of the entire movie. But overall, this is my favorite movie of the year, and when those end credit scenes happen, my hype for Sonic 4 shot up so high. But those were my 10 favorite movies of the year 2024. I want to hear from you guys. What is your favorite movie of the year 2024? Go ahead and leave that down in the comment section. And while you're at it, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and keep an eye out on my channel for my top 10 most anticipated 2025 movies. But until then, have a great day.